Good morning, everyone, distinguished guests, industry professionals, academics, students. Welcome to the FinTech for Inclusion Summit 2024 here at Academic City University College, ACT. When I saw it yesterday, I was excited. I was like, ACT, that's a very catchy, nice name. Welcome, and thank you so much. If you are traveling out and coming in Ghana, we like to say it beautifully, Akwaba. So we welcome you all to ACT, to the FinTech for Inclusion Summit 2024. And the theme is FinTech Fusion, Bridging Borders, Empowering Inclusion. Now let me tell you something. This morning, for some reasons, my car won't start. And then I order a ride. I just hop on without asking the driver any question, knowing that I had only 50 cedis in my bag, and that was not enough to pay for the transportation. And it didn't even dawn on me to ask the driver whether he accepts mobile money or he wasn't going to accept mobile money. I just sat in, and then just when we got to Underbridge, it just dawned on me, what if this man says he doesn't accept mobile money? So I asked him, driver, do you accept mobile money? And guess his answer. Can you guess his answer? Yes, he said yes, he accepted mobile money. And that was, that was such a great relief. Now that is how impactful mobile money has been, or financial technology has been. And every day we experience the impact of FinTech one way or the other in our lives. How many of you did any form of transaction this morning? You either bought airtime with mobile money, or you sent money to someone, or you paid for a ride. Like, how many of you did that? I'm happy that you have experienced FinTech. So welcome. Today, that's what we are going to talk about, the financial technology innovation, its impact on our lives, how collaboration can drive more innovation. We are talking cross-border, how collaboration can enable and close the gender gap. We are looking at women using more financial services, and today's summit would help us with answers, with solutions, and we'll go back and impact lives like we are already doing. Without wasting so much time, in Akan, or where I come from, when you go to someone's home, I have said the welcome, but it's often not enough. It's the head of the family or wherever you have visited that officially welcomes you. We've given you very beautiful breakfast. It's like serving you with water. Now, that was our way of saying welcome to ACT. But to officially welcome all of you, those who have traveled far and wide to Ghana and settled at the Academic City University College, would be Professor Fred Magbangonluri, who is the president of Academic City University College. Please, with a round of applause, please let's welcome Prof. as he gives us his welcome. Or you can do it better. Please let's welcome Prof. as he gives us his welcome address.
Good morning. So I'm going to give my team a task. Anyone that cannot say my last name by the end of this week has to find a new job. I met a pastor this week and asked for an invitation to speak to his congregation. And when I got there, he was really stiff. So I'm thinking this man of God has just finished preaching, and he's really stiff. So I just kept trying to find a point to anchor with him. And so I started talking about my experience going to elementary school here in Ghana. And then he looked up and he said, "Oh, you are mentioning familiar places. I thought you were Nigerian." Can you imagine that? Magbangonluri is a Nigerian. And I said, even if I were a Nigerian, don't you think you should loosen up also? There are amazing Nigerians, you know, they are friends. I met one recently in Kenya. He spoke at a conference, and he was so upset that when he got to the airport, the immigration officer said something negative. And so I said, "You really want the truth?" when I got here, everybody was asking me if I were from Nigeria. And I kept saying no, and they said we only date Nigerians. So that is quite interesting. Anyway, let me welcome you guys on a separate note. It's my pleasure to welcome you to the International Conference on Financial Technology and Business Innovation 2024 under the FinTech Fusion, Bridging Borders and Empowering Inclusions. And when the young lady spoke about paying with Uber, I'm thinking yesterday I actually ordered an Uber for a friend with my Bank of America card. And it was accepted. And I was like, wow, finally, I can use my American card here. I'm looking forward to using my EcoBank Visa card in America soon. Is it working? With permission, right? You have to tell the bank that you are traveling to America. But why should I? It's my card. I have the code. So let's fix that. EcoBank, let's also fix the situation where you withdraw 2,000, then you have to put your card in again and enter your code. Another 2,000, put your card in. And I'm thinking FinTech is here. So let's make that work. 2 minute signatures. So as we gather here today, we stand on the frontier of financial revolution driven by technology. One that is reshaping how new businesses, individuals, and economies interact with money. FinTech has opened doors to unprecedented opportunities from blockchain innovations to AI-driven financial solutions. The way we manage, invest, and even think about money is evolving faster than ever before. This conference brings together leading minds, innovators, and thought leaders to explore these new frontiers, share ideas, and collaborate on building a future where finance is smarter, more accessible, and more inclusive. Over the next 2 days, we hope to spark discussions that will lead to groundbreaking innovations and foster partnerships that can propel the financial sector forward. Your presence here is a testament to the commitment we all share to drive progress and embrace the possibilities that FinTech offers. Thank you for being a part of this exciting journey. Let's make the most of this opportunity to learn, connect, and shape the future of finance together. Let me also take a moment to thank the organizers. It's been long and winding, but I believe you're going to have a fruitful 2 days here. So without further ado, let me welcome you guys to Academic City. Also take time to tour, interact with our faculty, and above all, send your awards to us. Thank you and welcome to Academic City.
A round of applause for Doc. You can do it better. Thank you so much, Doc. That was one of the shortest and briefest opening and welcome address that I've ever heard. So please, a big one for Doc again. And then let us also acknowledge you and your team for hosting us and having us on your beautiful campus. When I entered the campus, I was wowed. It's a really beautiful place you have here. So thank you for welcoming us. We are excited to engage and to hear all what our experts have to say today. Moving on, next would receive a remark from the steering committee chairperson, and in the person of Professor Enoch Opoku Enchi. He is the Dean, Business Administration and Communications Act at Academic City. Please, a round of applause for Prof.
Good morning. I want to feel the love. Good morning. Good morning. Yes. Our elder says that when the oldest take their shower, then the water gets finished. So when the president speaks, nobody is actually expected to speak again. But I stand on all protocols to also give my remark. It's been a long journey, and if you look at the meetings of the steering committee, you can tell that we all really, including the president, wanted this to happen. And this morning, I called somebody who works at Makola and asked him, "Are you going to work today?" And he said, "I'm working from home." And I'm thinking, how can you work from home when you work at Makola? And then he started explaining some things, and it makes sense to me that he's working from home. And I remember that global is not the issue, but there's a lot of complexity, especially in the fintech area. And when the president was speaking, I traveled with him recently. I think we were in Amsterdam. And I was trying to buy McDonald's. They would not accept cash. But then I used my Access card, and straight away it went through. In fact, I have bank card from US, and when I traveled here and I went back, it wasn't working. It was blocked. But the one that I had from Ghana was rather working there. And I realized the importance of fintech and how it's really going to help us. So there's something called a flux, which is interdependence, diversity, and then ambiguity. So these three things are causing the flux, and that is why we need a fintech area. So I want to thank all of you for showing up, especially this organization, the Tigo. They gave us a cash of 10,000 Ghana cedis. Let's clap for them. We also have Joy, who are covering this, over 15,000 Ghana cedis, free for us. So Joy FM, let's also recommend them. Dr. Mark and myself wrote to over 25 different institutions, including the Bank of Ghana. My friend, I know you. Yes, and we heard nothing from any of you. I know this is the maiden one, so moving forward, we're going to have that kind of collaboration, because two things happen in the world of academics. Either you let the theory inform the practice, or the practice inform the theory. We are the supply side of the world of work. And labor is the demand side. So if we don't train them, you don't have them. And that is why we expect you to work with us, so that we can have the best of fintech in the world. And I know next year, when you see my letters of sponsorship, you are going to respond positively. Thank you very much, and welcome to Academic City.
Oh, please, a round of applause. Well, oh, you're not happy about the sponsorship bit. Oh, you're not happy about the sponsorship bit. They need the sponsorship, because we need to hold such conversations so that, like he said, early. Okay, so we are starting early next year, and I can see EcoBank is here, I can see GCB is here, and so they are coming. Even Bank of Ghana is here. A round of applause for the Bank of Ghana, so that when they bring the sponsorship, we can all rally behind them and ensure that they are not just passing on theory that is not applicable in industry, but something that industry can take and use. Next on our program, we have the keynote address. And Ghana's fintech landscape has really grown because of the support that we have had from regulation. The regulatory body, central bank, you know, they used to say central banks were playing catch up. Now, if you play with the law, you realize that they are no longer playing catch up. They're actually in there, and they are making sure that as much as we are looking for innovation, the consumer is protected, and the technology is rolled out in a way that will benefit us. So speaking on CBDs, an opportunity for cross-border payments and intra-Africa trade, we have Mr. Daniel Ejenyako representing the head of fintech and innovation at Bank of Ghana. Please, a round of applause for him as he delivers his keynote address.
Good morning, all. This sponsorship BOG conversation. So that was a big blow. Thankfully, it's above my pay grade, and I hope to channel the information to. Yeah. Anyways, I'm personally excited to be here. I was telling Prof that this was the first time that I have been here. I took a casual walk around. It's a little hot, but I love the landscape and all of that. Fintech has come a long way, and I think the lady was talking about payments being made through mobile money. The willingness for I must say customers or even merchants or probably people who own smaller shops to take on mobile money has grown over the period. You talk of 22.8 million active customers as at the end of 2023, like a 12% growth year on year. Transaction values 1.9 trillion. That's huge. I'm talking about like a 78% year on year. Balances, float balances. That is the electronic money moving around or seated in wallets with a backup at the bank. You're looking at 18 billion. That's also huge. So we've been growing, and the Bank of Ghana has taken deliberative measures to sort of give much visibility and make sure that the sector grows. In 2019, even before then, when you're a fintech and you really wanted to do something, offer a product or anything of that sort, you couldn't go to the central bank. So if you were apps and mobile, MML, you couldn't go to the central bank. The only time you'd go to the central bank is when you are actually going with a bank. So in 2019, we came up with the Payments and Services Systems Act, which allowed the fintechs to also come to the table. Moving towards 2022 or 2020, the bank actually couched out a fintech office from the payments department. And this shows the kind of commitment that the central bank has for the industry. So I must say I'm very excited to be here. It's an honor to be here at the Fintech for Inclusion Summit 2024, themed Fintech Fusion, Bridging Borders, Empowering Inclusion. While Mr. Kwame Opong deeply regrets his absence, I'm privileged to share on his behalf insights on the exciting topic of CBDCs, an opportunity for cross-border payments and intra-Africa trade. Africa is undergoing profound digital transformation, which is reshaping all sectors, including the financial sector. This transformation addresses sorry, can I have water? So this transformation addresses traditional banking challenges such as high fees, long settlement times, and lack of transparency, which hinder trade and financial inclusion, especially for SMEs. In Ghana, these challenges are notably evident in sectors like agriculture and manufacturing, where cross-border trade is essential for growth. The current system requires navigating multiple financial intermediaries, leading to the delays and increased cost, discouraging many businesses from expanding beyond national borders. The central bank digital currencies represent a significant evolution in currency distribution, exchange, and regulation. CBDCs are usually by central banks, which ensures stability and trust. And for cross-border payments, can offer several advantages such as lower transaction costs, faster settlement times, greater transparency and security, and reduced fraud and interoperability across borders, which I think we would make mention of here in terms of cross-border. By simplifying payment processes, CBDC could support existing initiatives, such as the AfCFTA, African Continental Free Trade Area, which will enable Africa countries overcome the limitations and fragmented payment systems and create a unified economic space where goods and services and capital can flow more seamlessly. Furthermore, CBDC should significantly enhance financial inclusion by providing a platform for the unbanked and unbanked population and empower them to engage in regional trade. Ghana has already made progressive strides towards digitizing its financial sector, including the launch of the ECD pilot project by the Bank of Ghana. The initiative reflects the bank's commitment to embracing innovation while maintaining monetary stability. As we continue to explore the potential of CBDCs within and across our region, it is essential to consider how this fits within Ghana's broader digital economy landscape. The success of the ECD and other initiatives will hinge on collaborative efforts among financial institutions, regulators, fintech companies, and consumers. Developing a CBDC requires not only technological advancements, but also addressing the legal, regulatory, and infrastructural frameworks to support its adoption. Ghana's fintech sector, which has greatly promoted payment innovations, will play a crucial role in developing user-friendly applications that leverage the ECD for everyday transactions and trade. CBDCs could further complement existing mobile money services in Ghana, which has revolutionized financial inclusion efforts. Integrating CBDCs with the strength of the mobile money ecosystem, offering a more inclusive financial environment that is accessible to all. As we all gather here to have some crucial discussions on the development of our ecosystem, I wish to encourage all stakeholders to collaborate in ways that will ultimately strengthen our ecosystem. Thank you, and I wish you all a successful event. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please, a round of applause for Mr. Ejay Nyarko. So whilst he was speaking, there is one question that often gets asked. Will CBDCs replace mobile money? And I think we had the answer here through his speech. It's going to complement what we already have because it's essentially a digital version of our national currency. A round of applause for him again. Thank you so much, sir, for that insightful keynote address. We are getting ready to do the do. Please ask someone next to you, what's your name? Hello, say hi to someone and ask their name. I'm sure you've been sitting by someone. Yeah. Yes, I like the excitement. I just love the spark of excitement that, hello. I just love the spark of excitement that just took over the room when I said you should ask the person next to you what's their name. Okay. It was supposed to be for some few minutes. It's like it's going over. Can we have one conference here? Thank you so much for your attention. So I get to tell you my name as well. My name is Eunice Asanto Ankuma. I'm a PR and comms professional and a certified digital finance practitioner. And I'm excited to be your MC or host, whichever way you would call me. And I'm glad I'm doing this with you. So thank you for your participation so far. When I say smile, you are smiling. Ask someone their name, you're doing it. So please, a round of applause for yourself. You're doing amazing. So now, before we get on to our panel discussion, How many of us are on social media? Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, LinkedIn. So you just take your phone. We're going to show the world that we are at the summit, right? We are telling the world that we are at the International Conference on Financial Technology and Business Innovation. That is the FinTech for Inclusion Summit 2024. So take your phone, take a selfie of yourself, and you are going to post it on your, if it's LinkedIn that you're on, if it's Facebook that you're on, if it's Snapchat, and I know some of them are on platforms that some generations, we don't even know they exist, right? So don't worry, I see you smiling. You can also take and share, and then and you're going to use the hashtag. Doc, I should have planned the hashtag with Doc. So let's get a hashtag for the summit. So we'll do hashtag, FinTech for Inclusion will be too long. So by the time you take the picture and post, by the time we are done with the first panel discussion, I'm sure the young minds would have helped me come up with a very catchy hashtag that we'll be using for our subsequent pictures. So please grab your phones, take a picture and share on your social media handles, and let the world know that you are representing the 2024 edition of the FinTech for Inclusion Summit here at ACT. We're going to start with our first panel discussion, and we'll be looking at digital financial inclusion. We'll be talking about the rise of the FinTech revolution. We'll be looking at the innovation, we'll be looking at inclusion, and we'll be looking at the impact that financial technology has made. And moderating this session is a banker and a management consultant. She's in the person of Dr. Loretta Abena Sapon. And she would be joined, a minute, technology, so we don't want to print paper, so let me call out the names of my panelists from my phone. Dr. Loretta would be joined by Mr. Ni Amankra Tete. He is a speaker, and he will be speaking for about 10 minutes before we start the conversation. And he's the CEO of Lesego Ghana. I hope I pronounced it. We're all thinking of Lesego. Then we hear the advert again on City, and it is not the Lesego like we say it. So he's the CEO. And Sarah Colley would also be a panelist. She's the founder and CEO of Alliance of Digital Financial Association, South Africa. We would also have Mr. David Paradiso. He's going to be a panelist. He's a partner and a managing director at March Invest India. We would also have Hajia Dr. Amina Sammo. She's also going to be a panelist, and she's a financial literacy expert here in Ghana. We have Professor Doug Nguyen, PhD. He's also on the panel, and he's the managing director at EMLV Business School in France. And we would have Jeremy Queno, who is the general manager of Jumo Africa and the CEO of Jumo Ghana. So I would hand over to Dr. Loretta and invite the rest of the panelists to join her. Okay. So we'll have we'll take the speech first by Mr. Ni Amatete, the CEO of Lesego. When he is done, the panelists will join him for the presentation. So please, a round of applause for the CEO of Lesego.
Good morning. Sorry, I always have to do this, or else I'll get confused somewhere along the line. All right. So good morning, distinguished guests, faculty, students. It's a real honor to be here at the FinTech for Inclusion Summit, addressing a topic that's very close to my heart and very central to our work at Letseho, Ghana. Empowering communities through digital finance inclusion. And just before I start, I'd really like to say I am thoroughly impressed by these engagement series. And I understand where most of the other firms are standing when it comes to donating at this time in the year. Budget is totally out. Nobody can do anything about it. But for us at Letseho, this was something that we really are interested in. Because if we don't get it right here, we'll probably lose it as we go down the line. So after saying that, let me just get into the subject of what I've been asked to speak on. So savings and loans companies in Ghana today serve north of 7.6 million customers, nearly twice the number of customers served by universal banks in Ghana, who have an active customer base just under 4 million customers. That number grows into a little over 10.9 million customers when we bring in the rural banks, microfinance entities, and others. Our customers are in the informal sector, and although we see an overlap into the bottom of the pyramid in the formal sector, the livelihoods here tend to be unstable and indeed perilous, to be fair. In this sector, enterprise where it exists is driven by grit and the magic of the Ghanaian entrepreneur. And many of us are familiar with the miracle working tabletop entrepreneurs and mothers and aunties who run our market communities in Ghana and give it life. This is Ghana's main street. They are the quiet millions we do not really see, whose incomes in fact turn the wheel of our economy. It is this rather silent community that ought to be the focus of the state and big business. And if our agenda is to empower Ghana and to grow wealth, especially if we are not paying lip service to ESG principles, this is where the buck stops. If the billions saved in the SUSU ecosystem and the billions that fuel the transaction ecosystem with more money is anything to go by, and Daniel very early on also spoke of wallet sizes that are backed by balances in a bank of over 19 billion cedis, then if we want to really unlock wealth in Ghana, this is where we should be looking. We've made great strides with the other spaces, but this is the place that's lagging behind, and this is the reason why we are not making as much progress as we should as a country. This community may not pass the paper scrutiny of Ghana's Wall Street, and it's not because of criminality, but because the structures of state and big business do not make these activities intuitive or business-friendly. So this community is a mixed bag of semi-literate, literate, illiterate, but they want to be seen, they want to be heard, they want to be engaged, and they want to be served. Over the last 3 decades or so, the products serving this community, while showing a debt of appreciation for this community and their needs, has also shown real limitations in reach, cost, and governance. The savings and loans sector is driven by private enterprise, mostly local, and limited by adequate funding, cheap sources of funding. This limitation also limits investment in the required distribution network and technology that is required to confront the challenge of inclusion. So whilst the savings and loan sector have proven that they are meeting a felt need, and over the last 3 decades or more have been catering to these needs of Main Street, it is limited by its driving principle. They are private enterprises, so they are driven by profits. And yet, the aspirations for this side must be driven by social enterprise. It's limited by its sourcing philosophy. It's a private enterprise, and so where it sources its assets, its inputs for production and all of that are sourced on the market, and so driven by profit also by other players. And dare I say, by the absence of a more proactive stance by the state. So Ghana is awash with hundreds, literally, of programs that are targeted at financial inclusion and SMEs and micro enterprises. But the people who are truly making real impact are really minuscule. And that's why we are not seeing the impact we should be seeing, even though so much talk and effort is directed at it. So there has to be a more involved steer, especially by the regulator, to create the incentivization for social enterprise in this very critical community. The story of financial inclusion has seen much success. Let's be clear about that. A lot has been done. But it is still a sore case of square pegs and round holes. But the good news is that it's not one that cannot be salvaged. And as a very good friend of mine, Abner Moore of the Ghana Stock Exchange, has often said and championed, it calls for concerted effort and collaboration of Ghanaians in the public and private sector who need to sit at the table and discuss fervently for the Ghana we want. Because honestly, the Ghana we have now cannot go on. This Ghana will end long before its promise is reached. And allow me to say, because I'm really into this, that the fight against the canker of Galamsey is just a tip of the iceberg. And we really need to get that conversation going if we want to start something meaningful for the Ghana we want. It's time for conversation and forceful advocacy for the Ghana we want, and there really is no time. Can we solve the problem of expensive funding? Yes, we can. Can we solve the problem of technology at a price that commoditizes reach, simplicity, and intuition? Yes, we can. But we must act very quickly. So let me tell you a little bit about Leteho Ghana Savings and Loans PLC, and the journey we've been on. 25 years ago, in a rather quiet capital of Botswana, Gaborone, an idea was birthed. An idea with a specific solution in mind. It was a bold initiative for financial inclusion. It began by providing payroll lending to government employees who did not have the wherewithal to secure borrowings from the Wall Street banks or attract the financial services they required. Leteho, which means support in Setswana, is represented by a tripod, a three-sided figure you see. A tripod that we use very often in many African traditional cooking spaces. You know, what we put the big pots on to brew whatever we are trying to cook. And it began to offer financial services and opportunities to those thousands disenfranchised by its Wall Street and offered them a shot at improving their lives. The dream over 15 years fueled an expansion into 10 other countries in Southern, Eastern, and recently West Africa. Ghana being the most recent jewel in its crown. It offers payroll lending, affordable housing support, insurance, savings, and payment services across its geographies. In 2016, Leteho Africa acquired AFB, previously AFS, in Ghana, and began their journey in financial inclusion. We began as a payroll lender and indeed are considered one of the leading payroll lenders in Ghana with some 50,000 active customers and all-time having served over 190,000 customers. So our knowledge and understanding of Main Street is deep and it's rich. But 7 years ago, we embarked on a journey to reach even more of our customers in our chosen field of endeavor, to give real meaning to financial inclusion. We created the Quick Loan product in partnership with Jumo, a fintech with a fierce loyalty to financial inclusion across Africa. It was a 30-day loan for amounts as low as 50 cedis and as much as 2,000 cedis initially. Today, there's a maximum limit of 3,000, and that's a limit we are planning to lift. It was no walk in the park, and as you can imagine, it was one fraught with a lot of red tape, many impossible risks, and almost no opportunity to collect. I want to acknowledge especially my predecessor, Arnold Parker, for his tenacity. It was his tenacity that ensured that this finally took root. And I must also single out a number of state and regulator-led initiatives without which this product would not have seen the light of day. So, these initiatives or events that were led by the state and the regulator actually characterize exactly how state and regulator need to partner with fintechs and small organizations if we really want to create the Ghana we want. And so I'll share with you those two things that I think were very significant in bringing about the quick loan solution today. So the very first one was taking root of credit reference in our lending framework. Without that, what was happening was anyone could just borrow here, borrow from everybody, and there was no record of their negligence if they chose to do so. So this means anybody who to lend can take a look at that reference bureau's data and know where you borrowed, how much you borrowed, and where you are, and actually determine some amount of character. Then the second thing was just that one source of truth as regards our identification in Ghana, the Ghana card. So before Ghana card, you could use either your hospital card, SNCC card, passport. I mean, like so many things. Indeed, on election day.
Pressure. Pressure.
Are we now projected? Yes, because we are even online now. That's the one. Come and read this technical. This technical. So if they pin my what yes.
things, right? I'll duplicate it. Okay, okay, okay. So how do I let, like, I want to view only the side? Yes. Okay. Charlie, the media guy. Okay, that will. uh, They pick the sound code. Is it possible that the person will pick the sound? Yes. Yes. This one, right? Not the, the, this one. This, okay. What if this one is two? This one. But I want us to use this computer for the sound. Okay. Then I'll connect the sound box. This one. To the Hello.
Our panel session is about. Can we all please take our seats? Thank you all so much. I hope you had a great time connecting with each other, taking contacts. Our first panel session is about starting. We've already heard from our speaker, and we'll be talking about the rise of the fintech revolution, innovation, inclusion, and impact at the forefront. And this session would be from 11 a.m. to 12:10 p.m. I'd invite the moderator for the panel, and then she would invite her panelists. And I have so much conviction that we are going to truly and really enjoy this session. So without further ado, a round of applause as I welcome Dr. Loretta Abena Sapon.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. I believe you are excited to be here today. Financial inclusion really enables economic and social well-being. And I believe we've already heard a lot from our three speakers, amazing speakers as such. And so to help me discuss this wonderful topic will be Sarah. Sarah is joining us online. So Sarah, if we can see you on video. David Paradiso is in person. David, please come and get seated. A round of applause for David. Dr. Amina. Dr. Amina, are you joining us online? If so, can we see you on camera with a wave? I don't see Dr. Amina yet. Professor Nujiyen. Prof, are you also joining us online? Yes. I don't see Prof yet. Jeremy. Jeremy, you are supposed to join us online. Can we also see you? Jeremy? Winifred is in person. So Winifred Opokubafo. Thank you, Winifred. And I see Professor Imhotep. I think I saw him online. Yes, Prof. So, Prof,
Yes.
you with
Yes.
your hand
Good
raised,
to
if you
see
can
you.
unmute and introduce yourself briefly to us, and tell us in a minute or two what you bring on board to this discussion.
Vâng ạ. Vâng, vâng, vâng. Vâng. Vâng, vâng. Minh ơi, đi đâu con? Con đi mua sữa. Dạ. Vâng, vâng, vâng.
Prof, are you ready?
Oh,
can
sorry.
hear
That's a little bit of interruption
Interruption
here.
here.
Con nào đi đâu bảo nó hỏi cho con ngồi một thế đi. Này,
Okay.
Technology. Allow.
Yeah. Colleagues, it's a great pleasure to join you on this very August occasion on FinTech revolution and how we position ourselves for it. I've been very interested in this topic largely because of some of the new financial innovations that are taking place within our local environment and globally. And I'm hoping to be part of this discussion, to listen in as an education adventure, but also to contribute some ideas towards some of the regulatory issues and how new uptakers can have confidence and trust in the new technologies that are coming by way of financial innovation. So thank you. I look forward to a active discussion with all of you.
Thank you very much, Prof. Sarah. Brief intro and what you bring on board. Yes, Sarah. If you can unmute yourself. There you go. Sarah, can you introduce yourself and tell us what you bring on board to this discussion? The rise of the FinTech revolution, innovation, inclusion, and impact at the forefront. Sarah, you have the floor.
Hi everyone, I'm delighted to be here. My name is Sarah Corley. I am CEO of the Alliance of Digital Finance and FinTech Associations. We spend all of our day looking at innovation and how we can continue to drive that innovation, but in a responsible and inclusive way. So I'm looking forward to being a panelist on this conversation.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you very much. David.
Hi, everyone. Pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for having me here. Thank you to Dr. Tampuri for the invitation, and certainly a pleasure. I'm David Paradiso. I am a partner for MyInvest. That's a Danish asset manager who focuses on many strategies, but my team in particular, we are investors in financial inclusion companies. I'm in charge of Asia and Africa, currently based in India. And we have been investors since 2010 with very traditional old microfinance. And we have seen the evolution of the sector over time until pure digital companies. That's what we're investing today. So happy to be here. A real pleasure.
Thank you very much, David. Happy to have you. Winnie.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Winifred Opokuba-Afo. I'm excited to be here. I'm with Absa Bank, currently the Governance and Rewards Lead. Looking forward to sharing ideas on how innovation cannot be stifled by governance. We usually get that hit back from our tech guys, sharing ideas on it, and also sharing ideas on how we can widen the scope. In the various conversations, I had the 30 percentile running through, 34%, 37%. I dare say we can go to 70% inclusion. And I look forward to sharing ideas on how best we can reach further than we currently do. Thank you.
So thank you all very much. A round of applause to my able panelists. Thank you very much. So we'll start the ball rolling. Innovation is the ability to see change as an opportunity, not a threat. Innovation is the ability to see change as an opportunity and is definitely not a threat. Sarah, in no particular order, with your experience with DFA Alliance, supporting digital finance associations across Africa and Asia, what are the key factors for building sustainable and impactful fintech ecosystems in developing regions?
Thank you so much, and that's a really great question. And I was contemplating this for a while because there's, I think, a lot of the key things that are involved, and I was trying to figure out what's the recipe for this, right? And then doing a little bit of, I don't know, creative wordsmithing, I actually discovered, so the S of science, that's sustainable business models. The C, we need capacity building and a flow of talent. So we need the entrepreneurs themselves and those leading the fintechs to be able to have a certain level of skill and knowledge, but also to have a talent pool that can work and continue the future of those fintechs. So we've got SC, the I, obviously importantly stands for infrastructure. When we talk about infrastructure, we mean things like interoperable and instant payment systems, which is something that we're still working on. Connectivity, which we know in some regions and parts of the world is not always as good as it should be and as reliable as it should be. And we're still in processes of dealing with, KYC, whether that's electronic, tiered, etc. So definitely we need enabling infrastructure. Along with it, the infrastructure, I think, very much goes hand in hand with regulation. So we need enabling regulation that enables fintech to grow and, as my fellow panelists said, to not be stifled as well. Things like sandboxes, regular public-private sector dialogue is required to tackle that challenge. So that's the E. The N, so that's, we of course need networks. The E. The N, we of course need networks. We need partnerships and collaborations. We need to be able to meet each other at events like this or through other networks. And I think associations are massively well placed to be able to sort of bring that kind of collaboration and networking together. The C, of course, we cannot lose the consumers from our focus. So we really need to make sure that if we are wanting to create this sustainable and fintech ecosystem, the consumer needs to be at the heart of that, both from a product design perspective, but also consumer protection perspective. And lastly, the E, and we have David, who is much better positioned to speak about this, but of course we need entrance and accessibility to fund. Fintechs need this to be able to start up, scale up, and become sustainable. So for me, there is actually a real science to building a fintech ecosystem.
Thank you very much. And I believe that collaboration is the word of the day for today. We've all seen the need for us to collaborate if we really want to do more and embrace change and really work on our technology. We need to really be flexible to adapt to new systems and learn capacity building. And probably that's how we are here this morning, deliberating on this important topic. So David, as a global private equity professional, what are the key investment trends driving the fintech sector in emerging markets like Africa and Asia?
Thank you so much. Very good question. So as I mentioned in my introduction, we've been following the financial inclusion sector from the good old days in which brick and mortar banks were everything that was available, And then over the years, we've seen fintech coming in and not replacing, but pretty much disrupting much of the industry to the benefit of the end customer. We focus on emerging markets and especially in companies that target the bottom of the pyramid, like our good friends Chego, very good bank, very good brand. So what we've seen lately is that two big trends. Lately is that you have big traditional business models. You have traditional business models changing, adapting, technology, adapting to technology, survive in a way, to become updated with, or to become updated with. So digital transformation needs. It's a key digital transformation. A lot of money flowing into that sector. A lot of money flowing into that sector. Traditional bankings, because a lot of traditional banking, huge customer, a lot of experience, huge customer bases. Which is extremely important, which is in many extremely cases. Important. That's something that small startup may lack. On the other hand, we see which small startups which don't have the baggage of infrastructure. Infrastructure much faster, much agile, and much willing to take the risk. Willing to take the risk. New technologies to benefit the end customer. So. Let me just give you a very big overview of how we as investors see fintech. And fintech is the combination of two words, right? Finance and technology. So usually people try to focus more on the tech part of it, and it's great. Let me tell you what we are seeing as the cutting edge or the more advanced technologies coming in. First of all, we see a lot of companies trying to leverage blockchain, and that is very essential for transparency, which is something that in emerging markets sometimes is not as good as some other more mature markets. And security. You have to remember, fintechs strive by having a lot of data. Sometimes it's super sensitive. Sometimes blockchain can really help to solve for security and transparency and privacy as well. On the back foot, sometimes the speed and the use of blockchain can be a little bit cumbersome. So their companies trying to figure that one out. Second, cryptocurrencies. And I know it's a little bit of a conversation we can have another time on cryptocurrencies, but let me tell you this. It's very useful for transnational transfers. Not so much for local, but companies that want to do international transactions, cryptocurrencies can be huge helps in their companies that are leveraging that. Some of them are using it, and that could be another conversation, but it's a trend that we see out there. And finally, lately we have seen a use of artificial intelligence. As I said, data mining is key for fintechs. And machine learning, artificial intelligence is the key to the future. We see it everywhere. There's a lot of buzz about these words, but we have seen business models that actually are leveraging machine learning to improve their credit scoring and to do something that the industry has been trying to do for many years with relative success, which is trying to understand customer behavior. That is key. Giving a loan, it's super easy. You give me $10 million, in a year I can deploy it. Now, can I recover it? Not that easy, right? Because it's solving everyday problems by technology. So that's what we look for. How to apply the fun, big tech into solving like everyday problems for the common people.
Thank you very much, David. My audience, I hope you are making notes. What problems are we having? What can we solve with finance and technology? That is what we are discussing. If you just join in, we are discussing the rise of the fintech